What's going on in Dynasty? It's Flex, the Commissioner, bringing you guys the Week 7 edition of the Fantasy Flex, as you know how we do every week, bringing it to you guys live on a Monday. Basically, we get into the standings. It goes a little something like this. You got the American Division. Leading right now in that division is the Yankees with a record of 5-1-1. Followed only half a game back is the Rays with a record of 5-2-0. The Dodgers are two games back, with a record of 3-3-1, followed by the Tigers, who are 3-4, 2.5 back in the division, and then you got the Brewers, who are 2-5, 3.5 back in the division. Moving over to the national side, you got the Phillies and the Cardinals, both still tied, folks, 5-1-1. Then you got the Mets with a 3-4 record, smashing it last week, so he's improving. 2.5 games back in the National Division. Then you got the Braves with a 1-5-1 record, followed by the Giants with a 0-6-1 record, 4-5 games back in that division. So let's get into the Week 7 matchups. Week 7 matchups goes like this. First matchup of the week, we had the Giants taking on the Yankees. Score on that one was 7-5-2. The Yankees took that matchup. Then you had the Cardinals taking on the Brewers, 9-4-1. Cardinals taking that matchup. Third matchup of the week was the Phillies taking on the Tigers, 7-6-1. Phillies taking that matchup. Fourth matchup of the week, you had the Tigers taking on the Dodgers, 13-1. The Mets smashed it last week. They killed it. 13-1. The Dodgers, actually, I think the Dodgers were the team that smashed it last week. So, opposite ends of the spectrum. Basically, now we're going on to the fifth matchup of the week, final matchup before we get into the previews and the standings and all that other stuff. Or the league leaders, I should say. You had the Braves taking on the Rays, 10-3-1. The Rays winning that matchup. So let's flip the page, get up over into the Week 8 previews, which are the matchups that will be going underway soon. First matchup of the week, you got the 5-1-1 Yankees taking on the 3-4 Mets, followed by the 3-4 Tigers taking on the 5-1-1 Cardinals. Then you got the 3-3-1 Dodgers taking on the 5-1-1 Phillies. The 5-2 Rays taking on the 0-6-1 Giants. So the Giants are still trying to get their first win of the year, but they're going to try and do that against a very hard opponent. The fifth and last matchup of the week in the preview so far, we got the 2-5 Brewers taking on the 1-5-1 Braves. So bottom feeders basically trying to get up on top of the polls or the standings. And now we jump into the league leaders. League leaders goes like this, folks. In runs, you got the Brewers with 336 runs leading on the year so far, followed by the home run category all the way almost down to the stolen base category. These categories are all had by the Phillies. So home runs, the Phillies got that, 100 home runs on the year. Extra base hits, 240 extra base hits, the Phillies got that. 977 total bases, the Phillies got that. Oh, congratulations for the Phillies, by the way, being the first team to break 100 in the home runs category. And now we move on over to the last category that the Phillies swept, and that was the RBI category. He took that, or he has that right now currently with 328 RBIs on the year. Stolen bases, we switch it up. For the past 7 weeks, we had the New York Mets holding down the stolen base category. That just got taken over by the Rays, so big up to the Rays. With 69 stolen bases on the year, I think he's only got that category right now by 3. So we'll see how it pans out, but we have a race in one category at least. Then you got the average. The Tigers are still holding that category down. He's got a 278 average on the year. And now we switch it up over to the pitching matchups, folks, or the pitching categories. Pitching, you have the Rays holding it down with innings pitched, strikeouts, and wins. He has all three of those categories. He's got 603 innings pitched, along with 534 strikeouts. So first one to 500 strikeouts, and by passing that mark by far, obviously. And then in the wins category, he's got 43 wins on the year so far, does the Rays. So in the losses category, the guy with the least amount of losses right now would be the Giants. He's got 20 losses. The guy with the most losses, or the guys with the most losses, we have a tie this week, or as of this week, is the Rays and the Brewers. They both have 29 losses on the year so far. Then ERA and WHIP normally go hand in hand. Those are both going to the Giants. The Giants got a 3.13 ERA along with a 1.19 WHIP. And in the save holds, that's going to get split between the Yankees and the Giants, who played last week, by the way. 40 save holes each in that category. So that is the league leaders. Let's jump into the trophies. Basically what everybody wants to hear and what everybody wants to get their name shouted out at. But I mean, this week we got the Mets pretty much killed it, man. That's all you're gonna be hearing as far as this trophy presentation goes. The I Get It In trophy is going to the Mets. 58 runs this week or last week. Going, gone. It's going to the Mets. 17 home runs last week. Touching them up with 186 total bases. The Mets. Followed by the Ribby trophy. So the man's feasting on all these trophies right now, folks. 58 RBIs on last week's matchup. That's going to the Mets. Now we switch it over to the We Got a Runner trophy. That is also going to switch over to the Rays. He had 15 stolen bases last week. Now the better than your average, we're going to go right back to the Mets with the 330 average on last week's matchup. Now the You Can't See Me, that's going to the Rays. He had 88 strikeouts last week. The Iron Horse going to the Rays. He had 98 innings pitched. Top of the mountain, that's going to the Rays. He had 8 wins. To get him out the game, the horse's ass, that's going to the Phillies. He had 9 losses last week. That spells relief with 7 save holes last week. That's going to the Mets. The Mets also had the Throwing Up Donuts award with the 274 average. And the I Killed It award is going to the Mets as well. 13-1 in his matchup, which basically brings us up to the last trophy. This week's stinkers, last week's stinker. That is going to the Dodgers for only winning 1 category in this matchup last week. That is the Fantasy Flex. This is the Fantasy Flex. See you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying active. Any comments, leave them up in the chat roll. Anything, any questions you guys got going for me, just let me know. And that's the show. See you guys next week, man.